In these Masters of the Air clips, bomber gunners are engaging with German interceptors. The intent of this video is to review the Masters of the Air Episode 3 bomber gunnery clips for historical accuracy and provide some bomber gunner stations tactics and factoids. Episode 3 follows the 100th Bombardment Group as it was assigned to attack the Messerschmitt aircraft plant in Regensburg, Germany. This page from a declassified October 1943 Air Staff Intelligence Report document titled Impact summarizes the attack, shows the routes of the bombers, and provides a scorecard of the mission. 400 to 500 German enemy aircraft attacked the bombers. 23 bombers were lost on the Regensburg mission, although this value was later amended to 25. 9 of the 25 bombers lost were from the 100th Bombardment Group. This page shows the aircraft plant prior to bombing, during bombing, and after the attack, with the caption that 2/3 of the plant was destroyed. This map from a July 1945 Air Staff Intelligence Report document titled Strategic Air Victory in Europe outlines the Schweinfurt-Regensburg narrative. The Regensburg route is represented by this shaded line. The other line is the Schweinfurt mission route. The red dots along the route are locations where bombers were lost. There are 23 dots along this route. A total of 60 bombers from both missions were lost, or 16% of the dispatched force. This page outlines the gun stations and a cutaway of the B-17F model that was used during the Regensburg raid. This model is armed with 12 machine guns distributed in 9 gun stations. 7 of the 9 stations are flexible mount guns where the gunner has direct control of the gun, and the gunner uses a ring sight and post for ranging, tracking, and targeting of enemy aircraft. The other 2 stations are the upper turret and ball turret. The upper and ball turrets adopted a more accurate Sperry computing gun sight for ranging, tracking, and targeting of enemy aircraft. In this clip, the forward gunner has spotted bandits at 10 o'clock low. The attacks that follow occurred during this leg of the course, where 7 B-17s will be lost. As discussed on this page from a 1944 Aircrew Gunnery Manual, the gunner should identify the number and type of threat, how many, approximate range, position of the threat relative to the bomber, and call out incoming only if the enemy aircraft is attacking. The key to effective flexible iron gun sight usage is maintaining a 20-inch sight base between your eye and the 35mm rad ring sight. The gunner will estimate the interceptor's range by referencing the fighter's wingspan to the gun's ring sight. If the single-engine fighter's wingspan frames 100% of the sight's diameter, the fighter is 150 yards away. 1/2 the diameter, 300 yards, and 1/4 the diameter, 600 yards. The gunner will start firing at an effective range of 600 yards, except for head-on or tail attacks where the range is 1,000 yards. The gunners call out the fighter's position based on the hands of a clock, and if the interceptor is high, level, or low relative to the bomber, as shown on this image. The 12 o'clock position is at the front of the bomber, and 6 o'clock is at the rear of the bomber. Hence the expression, "I've got your 6. I'm covering your backside." The 2 bandits at the 10 o'clock low positions would be located about here. All of the B-17's machine guns are Browning M2 50 caliber, which have a rate of fire between 750 and 850 rounds per minute, or up to 14 rounds per second. The ammo capacity of the B-17 is shown on this chart from a September 1945 AAF Technical Service Command document titled Tactical Planning. The columns are the B-17 model and block number, number of guns per station, rounds per gun, and location and type of gun. All of the 3 guns in the nose cavity are fed by 300 rounds. The gunners are to fire in short 1 to 2 second bursts. The short bursts, like those seen in these clips, are to keep the barrel heat to a minimum. This will reduce a chance of cartridge cook-off and increase accuracy by minimizing bullet pattern dispersion. The ammo belts adopted are either the repeating belt mix of 4 armor-piercing cartridges followed by a single tracer, or a mix of 2 armor-piercing, 2 incendiary, and a single tracer. The vulnerability of the B-17 was studied during the war. Observations of the study are outlined on this page from an August 1944 20th Air Force's document titled Combat Losses and Damage of the 8th Air Force. A bomber has its highest combat effectiveness when the enemy aircraft attacks from behind and below. This is likely due to the long duration of exposure due to the low closing speeds. The bomber also has an advantage for beam side attacks, where the enemy aircraft is less likely to score bomber hits. This is due to the difficulty of the enemy aircraft setting up accurate deflection shots. The B-17 has a 2-to-1 disadvantage in the 12 o'clock nose low attacks and a 3-2 disadvantage in attacks from the 12 o'clock nose high direction. These are the classic 12 o'clock high fighter attacks where the Germans are exploiting the bomber's vulnerability in this direction. You see a lot of these head-on attacks in the Masters of the Air clips. To mitigate this vulnerability, the next B-17 model incorporated a Bendix chin turret to provide more forward-facing firepower, as seen in this image. These will start showing up at the end of 1943. When the chin turret was added, the bomber's disadvantage dropped to a 5-to-4 ratio. I'm a little concerned since the episode's opening clip, B-17s are flying over the channel on D-Day without the chin turret. By D-Day, most, if not all, B-17s would be in the natural metal finish and equipped with chin turrets. The next clip shows two bandits attacking from the 2 o'clock direction. The upper turret is engaging the fighters. The enemy aircraft will be sighted, ranged, and tracked by the Sperry K3 automatic computing gun sight. The K3 compensated for lead and deflection. The turret is designed with an automatic cutoff feature to keep from shooting your own airplane. The turret can traverse 360 degrees in 9 seconds. One issue that is clearly a mistake is that the CGI department added barrel shroud sight posts. Sight posts were not attached to the upper turret's barrels. Some clips show the upper turret's guns with sight posts, some without. This is a slip in editing. The B-17's upper turret K3 gun sight and turret controller unit are shown in this homemade tabletop display. Movement of the controller unit moves the turret in azimuth and elevation. The gunner's left hand closes the turret's spring-loaded deadman lever, his index finger operates the trigger, and his thumb operates the comms mic switch. His right hand operates the range throttle. The K3 sight head has an adjustable sky filter, which is made by Polaroid. A flip-up iron sight is used for point-blank firing. The illuminated sight head reticle has a single horizontal line and 2 vertical lines. The gunner would need to frame the interceptor's wingtips with the vertical lines. The vertical lines move toward or away from each other by rotating the range handle. In this image of a real K3 gun sight where the elevation dial window, optical head guard, sky filter, and auxiliary bead sight features are all attached. None of these features are located in the series turret's gun sight. In this later clip, the view is from the perspective of the top turret gunner tracking an interceptor. I would have expected to see the K3's illuminated reticle range lines, sky filter, and no shroud posts. This is a view I would have expected to see, with or without the auxiliary bead sight deployed. A 2 o'clock low bandit is called out. The right waist gunner is engaging the interceptor. These are difficult, inaccurate, high deflection shots for both the bomber gunners and enemy aircraft pilots. This image shows some features of the waist gunner station. Each of the waist guns is fed from 300 to 600 rounds depending on the model. I know what you're thinking. Why is the waist gunner not adopting position firing rules, and is he using tracers for aiming? Early Air Force gunnery deflection rules made it extremely difficult and complex to estimate the correct lead and range, as discussed on this Office of the Air Force History document titled The Army Air Forces in World War II, Volume 6. Tracers may help, but they gave false paths of the bullet. Tracers will be eliminated from the ammo mixes in around 3 months. In October 1943, the 8th will retrain their gunners on the new position firing system. They will learn simple rules to correctly sight by firing only on interceptors which are attacking your bomber while flying a predictable pursuit curve. This is an example of a pursuit curve from the waist gunner's perspective. So flexible gunners in these clips have not yet been trained on position firing rules. They are using the older deflection firing system and using tracers to help correct their aim. Gun usage in these clips is consistent for the August 1943 time period. The ball turret gunner is calling out bandits at 11 o'clock low. The turret has features I would expect to see. The K4 gun sight with sight head guard and auxiliary bead sight deployed. This image is illustrating some of the ball turret's interior features. The ball turret has gun interrupters to keep from firing at the propellers. This is one reason why the 12 o'clock low attack is so effective, since the ball turret has limited fire in this direction. The ball turret's K4 gun sight is just like the upper turret's K3 sight, except it is upside down. The barrel should not be fitted with sight posts though. He controls the turret and fires the guns with a hand controller. His left foot adjusts the sight's interceptor's range. His right foot operates the comms microphone switch. The ball turret's crew member is one of the safest. See the crew's survivability rankings justification in this video. A bandit call-out gets a tail gunner into action. He is in the knelt position on his knees, sitting on a bicycle seat made by Schwinn. This image shows his armor panels and bullet-resistant sighting window. His guns are mechanically linked to the gun sight. His guns are fed by 565 rounds per gun. The arc travel of the guns is limited to 30 degrees up-down, left-right. His sighting window has vertical lines for tail drift estimation. This clip shows sight posts mounted on the gun's muzzles. Like the ball and upper turrets, none of these stations' guns should be fitted with sight posts. The tail gunner is usually the most accurate station since there is less deflection and the closing speeds are less. I expected to see the tail gun's muzzle flow deflectors. These are added since the barrels are so close to each other that the back pressure gases on one bullet leaving the barrel will throw off the bullet in the adjacent barrel. These devices will deflect the flow away from the barrel center line. They are not needed on the ball and upper turret since the gun barrels are located farther away from each other. All of the clips in episode 3 have shown flexible mount gunners maintaining good sight-based distances and burst fire discipline. In summary, I was pretty happy with the gunner's usage of the plane's armament. There were some key items missing from the turrets, and some extra items added that should not be there. The scenes also move very quickly. Perhaps a couple of clips following the German bomber interceptor's perspective would help in sorting out the air-to-air combat events. This would show how the formation gunners also work together in fending off the attacks. Let me know what you think.